Hey everyone, just wanted to show you a quick studio tour. This is my new setup. For the past few years I've been in an apartment where I've been working in a very small corner separated by room dividers, and so having an entire room and space to set up has been pretty awesome. I basically spent a week figuring out what exactly I would want in my ideal setup and then spent a week setting it all up. A big thing I wanted to do was set up different sections for different things. Over the years, I've just sort of collected a bunch of stuff, and I've never really been able to arrange it properly where I could actually take advantage of it. But this space has been pretty cool. I've been able to set everything up exactly the way I'd want it. The first thing is this main 4K smart TV. Of course, this is for mostly for taking breaks. I can watch shows or put on a Switch game. I even have the Wii U hooked up here. And sometimes I'll just put on like this type of walking through a city video just to have on in the background a sort of ambient noise and sort of an atmosphere just on in the background. On the wall here are a couple hats and my jacket. The one hat is you may have seen in my animated intro. Back in high school, I used to wear a similar hat, and some friends called it the Mumm hat. So this is sort of one of my looks, is wearing this kind of hat. And then the other hat you might recognize as the Back to the Future 2 hat, which I got for a costume a couple years back. Hard to believe that 2015 is now the past and almost a decade ago. But what's interesting is 2015 is also the year I began Guinea Pig Parkour. So it sort of marks the beginning. Up here I have a few posters. I got the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection posters, which is pretty cool because it's one from each of my favorite Mario games. Only missing Mario World. And then I have a couple original Genesis posters from Genesis games. And I thought it was kind of cool. These both have similar poses, but mirrored, so I set them up facing each other. At the end is a lovely painted Aladdin from a coworker from Starbucks I got as a Secret Santa gift, which is an amazingly thoughtful gift. Here's my actual desk setup. This might seem like an excessive amount of screens, which it is, but each has a function. I've got my tablet, which is what I draw on. I've got my second monitor, which is for anything I might need to put on there, like the game engine or reference. I've got this old HD TV from over a decade ago, and I've hooked up a Roku to it, and so I can just put YouTube on in the background. Right now I've been doing the Pomodoro technique, so I like to put on these YouTube videos of people also doing the Pomodoro, and it's kind of a good motivator. And I'm actually going to be making one of my own videos like that. When I do the live streaming, I'm going to start doing the Pomodoro incorporated into the live stream. And then finally we have this Trinitron CRT TV I actually got at a thrift store for 20 bucks, which is pretty amazing because Trinitron is like the top of the line CRTs. And a VCR I bought refurbished. And I don't always have this on, but sometimes I like to have a classic VHS tape playing while I draw, and it's really nice inspiration. It's also research because I like to be sort of immersed in the era that I'm trying to replicate, so you catch lots of little details over time. And I got these cool lights here, these Philips Hue lights that you can change the color scheme, which is pretty neat. You can set different moods. Over here we've got my new professional printer and Cricut machine. And this is what I'll be using to make stickers and other things for the art shop. I'm excited to start doing that. On this side of the room I've got my retro setups. First I've got this computer I got. It's a computer from 1998, refurbished. It has Windows 98 on it. I actually have it dual booting to DOS or Windows 98. And I've got a CRT monitor from the same time. This is actually the same monitor that I had as a kid in 1998, which is pretty awesome. I've got floppy disks. The computer takes floppy disks. And it's great. I can play old games right on the original hardware. Up here I've got more posters. These are all from the era, from Genesis games included in the box. Here I've got the hoverboard, which is part of the costume from Back to the Future. I've got another CRT TV, which I also got at the thrift store for all 20 bucks as well. It's unfortunate because I guess thrift stores no longer carry CRTs. They only, if you donate them, they'll just recycle it. So thankfully I was able to get these CRTs before that was implemented, that new policy. I've got all my retro consoles here. I've got the GameCube, which is a recent addition, and the original PlayStation, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and Nintendo 64. Actually, Super Famicom. All of my consoles from when I was a kid were actually stolen. Most of my stuff was stolen one year when our house was being bug bombed, and I put everything in the garage that I didn't want stolen, and then someone stole everything. So over the past decade, I've been bit by bit replacing that collection. And I started with the Super Famicom because it was a cheaper version of the Super Nintendo on eBay. And it looks cool. I like this design, actually. And then here is a switcher box. I actually can have 4 consoles plugged in at the same time and just switch between them, which is pretty convenient. Here I've got a little corner set up for my cat, Ashley. And she likes to explore. She's about 18 years old and she still has a lot of energy. And finally, we have my shelf of my collection of Genesis games, Nintendo 64, Super Famicom, PlayStation, and a lot of VHS tapes that were all basically, mostly all bought at the thrift store, $1 each, which was pretty awesome. And there it is. It's a pretty awesome space compared to what I was doing before. I was shoved in a corner and now I have this whole inspiring space of all my inspirations and everything all at my fingertips, which gets me really motivated and helps me stay focused. And of course, I don't have everything turned on all the time, but I have everything easily accessible when I want to use it. So thanks for taking this tour, and I'll see you later.